In the mountainous province of Echizen, there lived a potter named Takumi, who was known throughout the region for his exceptional skill. His tea bowls were sought after by nobility and tea masters alike, each piece commanding a price that could feed a family for months. Takumi's fame had grown steadily over decades of dedicated work, and now in his later years, he lived comfortably in a spacious home with apprentices who tended to his every need. Yet despite his success, a peculiar emptiness had settled into his heart. Each morning, as he sat before his wheel, the clay felt foreign in his hands. The bowls he created were technically flawless, perfect in proportion, glaze, and firing. But something essential was missing. The joy that had once accompanied his work had quietly slipped away, leaving only the hollow shell of routine. One crisp autumn morning, as red maples blazed against the mountainside, Takumi received word that the emperor himself had commissioned a special tea bowl for an important ceremony. Such an honor would be the crowning achievement of his career. The emperor's messenger delivered a pouch of gold coins as advance payment, explaining that the emperor would require the finest bowl Takumi had ever created to be delivered in 40 days. Takumi bowed deeply and accepted the commission, though his heart trembled with doubt. For weeks, he threw and discarded dozens of bowls, each one falling short of the perfection he sought. His apprentices watched in growing concern as their master became increasingly agitated, sleeping little and barely eating. 30 days passed, and still, Takumi had not created a bowl worthy of the emperor. In desperation, he dismissed his apprentices and closed his workshop. Taking only a small pack of essentials, he set out on foot toward the sacred mountain where he had gathered clay as a young man, hoping to reconnect with the source of his inspiration. The journey was arduous. Autumn storms lashed the mountain paths, and Takumi's aged body protested with every step. On the third day, exhausted and soaked to the bone, he stumbled upon a humble hut perched on a cliff edge. Smoke curled from its chimney, and Takumi approached, hoping for shelter. The door slid open before he could knock. An ancient woman with eyes clear as mountain pools gestured for him to enter. "I've been waiting for you," she said, though Takumi was certain they had never met. Inside, the hut was spare but immaculately kept. A single tea bowl sat on a simple wooden table, crudely formed, its glaze uneven and its rim slightly warped. Yet, something about it captured Takumi's attention. He found himself unable to look away. "Would you like some tea?" the woman asked, already heating water over a small fire. Takumi nodded, still transfixed by the imperfect bowl. When the woman poured steaming water over the tea leaves, the humble vessel seemed to come alive, its imperfections creating unexpected beauty as steam rose and light played across its surface. "I've never seen such a bowl," Takumi admitted, accepting it with both hands. "It's flawed in every technical way, and yet it speaks," the woman finished for him. "That is because the maker did not try to separate himself from the clay." As Takumi sipped the tea, something profound shifted within him. The warmth of the bowl in his hands, the way it felt against his lips, it awakened memories of his earliest days as a potter, before fame and fortune had found him. He remembered the pure joy of creation, the dialogue between his hands and the clay, the surrender to the process without concern for outcome. "I am to make a bowl for the emperor," he confessed, "but I have lost my way." The woman laughed, a sound like wind through bamboo. "The emperor has many bowls. What can you give him that he does not already possess?" Takumi had no answer. "Stay," she offered. "The storm is fierce and night approaches." For 7 days, Takumi remained in the hut. Each morning, he joined the woman in collecting clay from a nearby stream bed. Each afternoon, they worked side by side at her simple wheel, saying little. The woman never corrected his technique or commented on his work. Instead, she hummed ancient songs and occasionally shared stories of the mountain spirits who inhabited the peaks. On the 7th evening, as they sat watching the sunset paint the valleys below, the woman handed Takumi a package wrapped in cloth. "For your journey home," she said. Takumi bowed deeply. "I have nothing to offer in return." "You brought yourself," she replied. "That is always enough." The return journey passed quickly. When Takumi arrived at his workshop, only 2 days remained before the emperor's deadline. His apprentices greeted him with relief and concern, but Takumi waved away their questions and requested to be left alone. In the quiet of his workshop, he unwrapped the woman's gift. Inside was a lump of mountain clay, still damp and smelling of earth. Beside it lay a note. "Your true worth is not in what you make, but in how fully you become the vessel for creation itself." Takumi sat before his wheel one final time. Placing the mountain clay between his palms, he closed his eyes and breathed deeply. He thought not of the emperor, nor of fame or technique. Instead, he allowed himself to become empty, a vessel through which the clay might speak its truth. His hands moved with the certainty of water finding its path downhill. When he opened his eyes, a bowl rested before him, not perfect in any conventional sense, but alive with the energy of mountains and storms, joy and surrender. The next day, when the emperor's messenger arrived, Takumi presented the bowl with neither pride nor apology. The messenger frowned slightly at its rustic appearance, but packed it carefully for the journey to the capital. 3 weeks later, another messenger arrived with a letter bearing the imperial seal. Takumi opened it with steady hands, ready to accept whatever judgment came. The message was brief. In a palace filled with perfection, your bowl alone has shown me emptiness. In emptiness, I have found peace. What is the price for such a gift? Takumi smiled as he wrote his reply. The bowl was empty until you saw yourself in it. Its worth, like your own, was always there, waiting only to be discovered. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales that stir the soul.